Hello. I'm hoping to help with sort of a context as to how to understand the Masoretic text and a lot of the oral tradition that exists with Torah. And the purpose of much of the standardization of the oral text was because there was a concern that things would be people would have difficulty holding on to a clear understanding during the time from Moses and through the first temple. There was a sufficient amount of understanding that existed. There was sort of a collective consciousness of understanding that it wasn't really necessary to write a lot of this down, the understandings of the Torah. At the time of the destruction of the first temple and during the Babylonian captivity, there became an awareness that these things could be muddied. They could be, people would have difficulty holding a clear grasp of things. So soon after the Babylonian captivity, people started to standardize the prayers that were said. The prayers are based upon the temple services. And as the temple services in the second temple wasn't quite the same, they wanted to standardize an understanding. So that was the purpose of writing, creating the siddur, the standardized prayers. With the destruction of the second temple, there also was an understanding that the yeshiva system, the learning system, would start to weaken, and they wanted to create a standardized understanding of learning systems. So that first of all, they created the Mishnah, which is the straight up legal understandings, and later the Gemara, which was the analytical aspects of the legal aspects of Torah. Then, as time moved on, there was also a concern that sort of associated with the siddur, there's a necessity for the rituals to be done. Certain parts of the rituals have to be done in an exact manner, and the reading of the Torah and also the Haftarahs and the other readings that occur have to be done according to a standardized system. So they created what's called the Masoretic Text. The Masoretic Text included from the original Hebrew, which did not have vowels and did not have punctuation marks, and that they standardized it so people would remember how things are to be pronounced and how things are to be, the inflections of the pronunciation of the markings. And so the cantillations and the vowels were standardized. Now, of course, different communities will say things differently. Not every letter is spoken the same way, or not every vowel is given the same. Not every inflection is the same. However, there's a standardization so that within that community, they're saying it in a proper manner. That's for the purpose of the readings, the ritualistic readings, the kriyas, and that's part of the prayer services. Now, while the Masoretic text gives a proper pronunciation within the context of the community's pronunciations of the Torah and of the Tanakh, so that people are saying it in a consistent manner, that is within the context of the prayer service. Outside of the prayer service, it's not, the Masoretic text is not as necessary. It sort of creates a starting point for Torah study, for Bible study, and understanding it, that it creates a starting point, creates a tether. It's like a kite, requires someone holding onto the kite in order for it to fly. the Masoretic text creates a tether so that a person studying can lift up and can soar, not necessarily holding to the Masoretic text, but rather using that as a starting point, using that as something that they hold on to in order to allow them to expand past what is available in the Masoretic text. So nobody disputes the value of the Masoretic text within the context of its value. It's not held on to strongly during the time of study because it's not necessary at that time, except as a starting point so that the study can grow past. So within the understanding of its context, the Masoretic text, nobody disputes the value of the Masoretic text, and nobody challenges it except outside of where it's necessary. Then everybody within its context, it's accepted by everybody. Thank you.